Hey everyone, so I have another film to talk about just now. As I mentioned in my review of La Haine, there have been a series of films. Each week there'll be 2 or 3 films which I have to watch for film studies. And one of them that we watched this week is Broken Blossoms, or it's also called, now I've got it written down, The Yellow Man and the Girl. And it's 1919, and it was directed by D.W. Griffith, who was like essentially the father of film back then. And to be honest with you, I don't really know what to say about this because I enjoyed it, but there was only really one reason why I enjoyed it. The actual film itself was a bit weird, to be honest with you. It's a silent movie. The whole thing is silent. It's an hour and a half long and it's silent. And I was like, how can somebody sit for an hour and a half just watching images, no dialogue or anything? Well, there is dialogue. You can see their lips moving, and then the subtitles come up saying, the title screen and say what they're doing. But it's really weird. It focuses on sort of contrasting cultures, if you like, and has a hint of racism there as well. Um, you have one little girl, and she lives with her father, and her father is horrible. He beats her if she does one thing wrong. There's a particular scene, which, I'm not going to spoil it all, but there's a particular scene where she spills a tiny bit of gravy on his hand. Well, he did it. She went over to make him his meal. He went like that, and she got a bit of gravy. I imagine it was gravy. It's almost black and white, so it's kind of hard to see. And he flipped, even though it was his fault, and she was terrified. So it was really quite upsetting to see that. And then she is saved, kind of, by a Chinese man. And the first half of the film, well, maybe the first quarter of the film, was just showing us this Chinese culture in the Buddha. And I'm like, what's this got to do with anything? It was really weird. So the first quarter of the film, I just want to say, is absolutely boring, but sit through it, it gets interesting. And this Chinese man kind of saves her, essentially. Now I'm going to say how he saves her as such, but he's very fond of her in a way that he shouldn't be fond of, this child. He is a man. He's a fully grown man. She is a child. The way he looks at her, the lusting is just, it's really sinister. And he tries to save her from this man, her father. And it's a case of, is he going to be able to? It's very melodramatic. It's very surreal. A lot of what happens is, how could that possibly have happened? It's very coincidental. It's like, how would that character know what that character was doing? Some of the things don't quite add up, but that's what makes it a melodrama. It's interesting enough, yeah. Although I have to say though, it was funny, but it shouldn't be funny because it is quite serious and it really does reek of sort of sentiment and emotion. But the people who were sitting behind me in the screening were commenting throughout it. I mean, they had to, otherwise it would have just been so rubbish. And the things they were saying was absolutely hysterical. They were basically voicing what everybody else was thinking and a few other things. And, I mean, it was really hysterical. The things they were saying, they were giving voices to the characters and sort of pretending to say what they were saying, and it was absolutely hysterical. So if you are ever in a screening and you have to watch a silent movie, pray that somebody's going to do that. It does make it more interesting. But it helps as well, because they said things, and I can now sort of remember things they've said and attach that to certain scenes. But I think if it wasn't for their hilarious running commentary, it would have been okay. I don't think I could have sat through it an hour and a half on my own, but because there's other people around me and laughter bounced and things, and emotions were connected, were connected, goodness. It was okay, yeah. I mean, I can't exactly go and say it was a bad movie. It was from one of the greatest of, directors of the time. I can't really say it was a bad movie, but for me personally, I'm not a fan of silent movies, but I did enjoy it more than I thought I was going to. And also the main actress, Lilith, let me check this, Lilith Gish. I've got the IMDb page at the side of me. Lilith Gish, mouthful, was absolutely fantastic, and she went on to live till she was 99. She lived till she was 99, she was born in 1893, and she lived till 1992, I think. But she's absolutely fantastic in it. So the casting is great, and it is very funny in some parts, and it shouldn't be funny, but it is funny. But I mean, it is brilliantly directed. For a contemporary audience, it's probably not that good. But if you think about it at the time, it is really, quite frankly, a work of art for the early 20th century. Yeah, please feel free to leave comments on Broken Blossoms or anything else. If you've seen anything else D.W. Griffith has done, let me know. I would like to see what else he's done. I imagine we're going to have to watch some of it anyway, so that should be interesting. But please feel free to leave comments and let me know your thoughts. And that's it for just now, so I'll see you all next time. Bye!